Hi, First Baptist Llano. At this time, you've probably heard about the Stay Home, Stay Safe order issued by our Llano County judge. And so I want to say a few words regarding that. People in our office, in accordance with that, are allowed to be here as church personnel. There's a provision for clergy and staff for church who are producing videos for the purpose of worship. And so our staff will be here on a basis that is kind of in and out in a capacity to help us as we produce Bible studies and mainly our online worship service. And so that will be the main purpose, that our staff will be in our building and on campus during this time. So I wanted to alert all of you of that because we have I absolutely love just the atmosphere we have where folks come to our office and visit, and I appreciate that we have that great relationship. But unfortunately, during this time, we need to discourage folks from coming to our office as so many normally do, just to say hello and to pop in. And we want to encourage you to really heed the order that's been put out by our county, because it's for our safety. One of the things that we value at First Baptist Llano is service. And so I know that during this time we've had lots of folks call. They want to know how they can help, how they can serve. And prior to this point, we've been encouraging folks to get out and physically do things. But now, really, the best way that you can serve, the best way that you can love people in our community is by abiding by this order put out by our county judge, and to stay home unless you are doing an essential activity, going to the grocery store, getting some fresh air. And regarding serving and helping, the best way you can love others is by protecting yourself and protecting others. And I know that's very difficult for some of you because you are a doer. We will try and be in touch with our county regarding some safe service activities. We've talked about the possibility of providing a meal. We don't know at this time if that's possible, but if it is, we will certainly let you know. But in the meantime, do what our city and our county is asking us to do. And that's one of the best ways you can help and that you can serve. I also want to address the fact that there have been lots of things that have been canceled in our church or postponed. And that is just the nature of what we're dealing with right now. There's lots of uncertainty. And so all immediate activities, Bible studies, other things that have been going on have been canceled or postponed. And then even some activities that are reaching out into our church calendar into the summer, Vacation Bible School, camps. We have a mission trip that's planned, a backyard Bible club that we have been excited about. And we would absolutely love for all those things to go off, and we're hoping and praying that they will. We're planning that they will. But we can't offer you any concrete answers at this time because we aren't sure what's going to happen 2 weeks from now, much less 2 or 3 months from now. So please bear with us in connection with those things, and hopefully the order or the federal ask that we continue social distancing throughout April, when that's up, perhaps we'll be able to know better. Perhaps we'll be able to move forward with our church calendar, and things will go back to a little bit more steady routine, but we just aren't sure right now. I also want to address the fact that it is not lost on me that we are approaching Easter. And it's a strange time, isn't it, to have to be moving toward that Sunday when we're supposed to celebrate, and not only to not be able to gather as a church family, but maybe not feel like we have a lot to celebrate. I want to remind you that part of the Easter season involves waiting. The church typically calls that Lent, and we may not call it that in Baptist life, but that's still something that we do, and we anticipate the fact that Jesus came and Jesus provided new life by what he did on the cross, and that he rose again. And so we are in that waiting time. But even after Easter, we recognize, along with the whole of Christianity, that there is still some waiting involved, isn't there? Even though we know that Christ has come and provided us forgiveness on the cross, and he's risen again, we are still waiting for Christ to return. And so even in the midst of a time where we are supposed to be looking forward to celebrating the hope of what Jesus has done for us, we also recognize that there is a waiting, that we are not only doing for Christ to return and set all things right. That really connects to the waiting that we're engaging in right now, as we're waiting in hope for when this pandemic will end. And as we do so, we trust that even in the midst of this, that God is working, that God is doing things that we can't see, that we can't understand, and that eventually he will hear our prayer and he will answer it, and we will be able to celebrate and rejoice on that day. Finally, I want to remind you that even though we aren't meeting in person, even though we aren't having Bible studies, we are still trying the best that we can to provide streaming services, provide streaming Bible study. And so I just want to remind you of the schedule that we have right now. We are just starting this on Tuesdays. We're calling it Tuesdays with Tammy. And Miss Tammy is going to provide a Bible study time, a short time, probably no longer than 15 minutes for our children, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on our Facebook page. And we'll also put that on our webpage, where she just has a time especially for children, because they're missing Sunday school, they're missing their normal Wednesday night programming, and so we want to have a little bit for them that is just geared toward them. So would you help your kids? Parents, please log on to Facebook, to our webpage, and help them experience that, so they can have some Bible study time just for them. We'll also be doing a Wednesday Bible study and prayer time, just as we did last week, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And I'm going to take that time to not only pray with you and lift up some some requests and concerns, but we also want to make that time a little more of an in-depth time of Bible study, since so many of us are missing out on that. So we'll do that every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then we will have a worship service that Jay and I will have, and Craig, as we have been doing every Sunday at 11 a.m. And we are working toward making that better and more accessible. We've had lots of feedback. We had folks even comment and interact with me on our last Sunday service, and so that's great. And we want to continue doing that. We know it's not the same as having worship in a building, but it's the very best that we can do right now. There's some other opportunities we're going to be working on. We may have a Sunday school lesson available. At this time, we aren't sure, so just stay with us regarding that. Good Friday, I will probably do a short time of just reflection on the crucifixion, and so I'll keep you updated regarding that. And we are also in this sanctuary going to record what would normally be our community sunrise service. We're going to have area ministers in all over Llano to come together, and we will have a worship service that we will put out on Easter morning at 7 o'clock, and it will involve all of the ministers in our community. So we'll be working on that as well. And so we want to continue to stay connected with you in this way. Know that I'm praying for you, and know that I'm trusting that God is not only hearing our prayers, but God is working during this time. And I invite you to do the same. We love you. God bless.